back to a brand new speed build. Today I have an industrial gym and cafe, and I am so excited to share this build because it is one of my favorite builds that I've ever done. I love every single thing about this build, and hopefully you guys will like it too. So this is built in the world of Evergreen Harbor, which we got with the Eco Lifestyle expansion pack, and I barely build here. I feel like it happens like maybe once a year or something like that. It does not happen often. I love this world, I do. It's just I find it difficult to know kind of what style to kind of build in, because we have, obviously with Evergreen Harbor, the entire thing is that you can kind of like change the eco footprint. So depending on what footprint you have, the worlds or the parts of this world, like the neighborhoods, will look a little bit different. And so this is kind of like built in the middle part where like the railway station is, and where like they're like what's it called, like container homes and stuff like that are, which for my save file I am gonna keep this in like an industrial footprint because it just makes sense with the builds that I've already built for this area, and it just works. But the other two like neighborhoods in this world, the first one that is like up to the left, that one is going to be on the greenest one, just because I wanted to build some modern builds for that, because I feel like we don't actually have that many places to build modern builds in the game. I mean, we do, but we also don't, so I just wanted to build some modern builds there. And then the other neighborhood is going to be neutral, I think. But basically I found a picture on Pinterest that I really wanted to build, and that ends up being the inspiration for this build, and I'll pop it up here on the screen. But I saw it on Pinterest and I was like, oh, I really want to build this, and I was really in the mood to build like an industrial build, and so I was like, I really want to build this, but I don't really know in what world. And then I realized that I had this lot in Evergreen Harbor, and it works perfectly again with the industrial footprint that I am going to have in this neighborhood. So yeah, it ends up being in Evergreen Harbor, which again, it does not happen too often. I haven't built here in literally a year, but every time I do build here, I love it. It's just, again, I find it quite hard to like understand, or like to know, I guess, what style I want to build in and like what types of builds and stuff like that, but I think that this fits in here pretty well. So for the lot name, you will see in the top corner, that is not the lot name. That is the name of another build that I've built as Train Station Cafe, which I built in this world. And when I was taking screenshots for that build, I took them on this lot because the lot I built them on, the lighting was horrible. So the actual lot name will be in the description box if you're curious on what lot this is built. But yeah, again, it's in the kind of like middle neighborhood, and it has this kind of like industrial train station vibe behind it, and I just feel like it works so well on this lot. But anyways, moving on and talking more about the build. So right now I'm kind of figuring out the windows and the doors and all of that. I knew I wanted to use the new door that we got with or the kind of new door that we got with the Business and Hobbies expansion pack, because we got a very like industrial door, and I really wanted to use that. And then I realized that these windows, like the kind of square windows they use, they are from the Moschino Stuff pack, and they work perfectly like height wise and stuff like that with that door, so I used those. And then the other windows that I used that are kind of like rounded at the top, those are from the industrial loft kit, and I love those windows. They're some of my favorite windows in this game. I don't get to use them too often, but when I do, I absolutely love it. They're just so cute. And right now you will see in the kind of like on the kind of like right side of the build, there is a little like bump out with another window on it, and that window is from from the Horseradish expansion pack. Jesus, I can't speak today, I'm so sorry. But anyways, that window is from the Horseradish expansion pack, and that does not end up being there because basically what happened was that I was building this build, and I was showing it to my boyfriend because we were talking about something, and I was like, oh, you want to see something that's gonna like piss you off? Because we all know, if you've been here before, you know that my boyfriend has like a construction-ish background, and he can get very mad at me sometimes when I build things that just does not make any sense. Like usually it's the chimneys. He hates where I place chimneys and stuff like that. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. I don't really build with like too much realism when it comes to like that type of stuff. I do love like my clutter and making it feel lived in. So in that way I have like realism, but like I don't actually know where like chimneys and stuff like that are supposed to go. But he can get like he he can get very opinionated when it comes to that. You might have seen him in my comment section sometimes. I promise he's not leaving actual hate comments. He's just making fun of me in a very loving way. But I was showing him this build and he was like, I don't know, I feel like something on the right side is off. And I was like, yeah, me too. Like there's just something that is off. And then instead of having that little bump out, I kind of just extended it into the rest of the build so it doesn't end up being a bump out per se. And on that, I instead put the other windows that are from the industrial loft kit. So that window that is on the top will not be there. At least if I'm like correct in thinking that. I have to check those right now. I was correct. Sorry, I'm very tired, and so I was like, am I making this up? But no, I wasn't. And then for the kind of like cafe portion, which is the portion on the left side of the build, I end up using a door from the, I think, Equal Lifestyle expansion pack. I think that door is from there. And when it comes to the wallpapers, I'm really happy with the ones I used. The two bricks are from City Living and Realm of Magic. The one on the left side that is kind of like the cafe one is from Realm of Magic, at least if I'm remembering correctly. And the brick on the right side of the build is from City Living. And then the kind of like white creamish wallpaper that I don't know how to explain it, on the kind of like middle portion of the build that looks kind of like distressed, that is from, I believe it's from the Life and Death expansion pack. It could be from the Lovestruck expansion pack as well, because they have, I know we got a similar one, but I believe it's from the what's it called, Life and Death expansion pack. And I feel like that just worked so well for this build, because again, I wanted this to be a little bit more industrial, a little bit run down. You will see on the exterior I place a lot of different like garbage things and just like random things to kind of make it again look like, I don't know, like industrial and kind of like not dirty or messy, but like, I don't know how to explain it, but I think you get my drift. But yeah, I just feel like that wallpaper worked so well. So yeah, I just really like it. And you will see on top of the, again, left-hand side of the build where I have the cafe, I end up placing this water heater, and it's really big, and you might be like, what is up with that? But if you look on the like reference image that I used from Pinterest, there is something like that on top of it, and I don't know what that build was used for. It looks like it was some sort of like, maybe like a dock build. Like, I don't know why I'm getting that vibe. I'm getting a dock build vibe, and I don't know why. But I feel like it was used for something in like a marina, maybe I have no clue. I just found that picture, don't ask me. But again, it has this like huge water heater, and we have something like that is from the I believe the For Rent expansion pack, I believe, if I remember correctly. And we have a functional one and a non-functional one. Kind of. We have a functional one in the regular category, or like the regular, build like object thingies. But if you then go into the debug menu, we have a non-functional one. And to begin with, I used the functional one, but then I was like, oh, that's gonna be a pain, because what if like the water needs to be changed and you can't really access it? So I do put the non-functional one, if anyone was wondering. It will not be an issue. And I know it might look a little bit weird for it to be up there, but I just really like it, and I feel like it works really well. Again, it is from the reference picture, but I really like it. And again, yeah, I just think it works really well. And kind of together in that vein, and like together with the whole like industrial part of this build, I add a lot of different like pipes and stuff like that to the exterior. The pipes are from a lot of different places. I use the kind of like water, what is it called? The thing that like leads water from the roof down, if that makes sense. I don't remember what it's called, but I used that all over the build, and that is from the the Business and Hobbies expansion pack. Because again, they look kind of like pipes, but like not the other pipes I use, if that makes sense, because the other pipes I use go kind of like in and out of the wall, and they're from, I think, City Living, the get together no the get to work expansion pack, and some I think might be just base game, so it's kind of like a mixture, and I use different ones on the different parts of the build. But yeah, I really like it. And then also for the exterior, I do use a bunch of different live edit objects. Again, I usually do that when it comes to a build like this, when it has like some type of business associated with it, just because I feel like it makes it look more like it's supposed to be there, like it belongs more in the world. So you will see like on the back of the build I put these, like, I don't even know what to call them, but they're like some wood squares. I know there's a technical name for it and I'm forgetting it now, but I kind of put them and like stack them to kind of make it look like someone just dropped them there. I also use the kind of like this the not the wall lights, the just like lampposts that are around this area. I use them as part of the builds, like on the exterior, and yeah, kind of just again to make it look like it belongs. And then also on the back end of the build, I put both the actual like functional like container that we got, I think with the Eco Life expansion pack, I think so, but we got like a kind of like a container, like trash can that is functional. But then in the debug menu of like whatever pack, I don't remember what it is, but we have one that is like opened and it kind of looks like it's dirty and like it has trash all around and stuff like that, and I put that next to it to kind of make it look like there are two of them and one might be overflowing. And then next to that I also put this object that I think is from Get Famous, weirdly, but it's a bunch of different like leaning paintings, and I think there's just a random brick there, and it's really random, but I think it's supposed to be maybe like a movie set or something like that. But I used it back there because again it just feels like it's supposed to be thrown away maybe, so it's just put with the containers, but no one has actually put them in the containers. That is the English word for like for those, right? Because in Swedish that would be like a container, but I realize now that a container could be something you also put something in, like a food container. I'm very confused. If I'm using the wrong word, I am so sorry. I hope you still understand what I mean. But otherwise for the exterior, I just put a bunch of different signs and stuff like that to kind of signalize that, hey, this is a business lot. You can in your game run this as both a cafe and a gym, like either those lot types, or if you have the business and hobbies expansion pack, which to be honest you would kind of need to download this build, because again I used a lot of objects from that pack. If you're ever curious of all the packs that I use in a build, they are all listed in the description box down below, and they are sorted through like expansion packs, game packs, and stuff like that, so it should be pretty easy for you to find. But yeah, so if you're ever wondering like what packs I use, just look there. But if you have the business and hobbies expansion pack, you can obviously run both of those small businesses here. You can't run them at the same time, if that makes sense. Like you can't have the cafe open and the gym open at the same time, but you can have a gym and a cafe just open at different times, if that makes sense. So it just depends how you want it. For my save file, I'm not 100% sure what I want. Obviously the main thing with this build is the gym portion. I honestly just did a cafe because I didn't know what to do with that space, because I felt like having this entire thing as a gym would just be a little bit too much and too big. So I decided to make it into a cafe because I feel like the whole industrial vibe works really well for a cafe. But as I was thinking about it, I realized that again I built this like train station cafe that is literally behind this lot for my save file already. So I don't know, I probably could have done this, like made this into something else, but I didn't really know what to do at that point, so I just made it into a cafe, so I'm so sorry. Also, when I was showing this build to my boyfriend again, he was like, you're putting a cafe next to a gym, are you trying to kill them? Because obviously you might be very, very tempted to go in and get like something sweet, and a lot of people that go to the gym, not all, but a lot of people are like watching kind of what they eat and stuff like that. I go to the gym and I don't. I genuinely I was gonna say generally and I say genuinely. I always mix those two up. I don't know why. But I generally eat very healthy. Like literally my favorite snacks are vegetables. I have issues, I know, but like, so I don't need to watch kind of what I eat. But I know a lot of people that go to the gym, like they bulk or they cut or, you know, whatever. So my boyfriend was like, "Are you trying to kill them?" And I was like, "Sorry, my bad." But I think it works in the end. But anyways, I don't think there was anything else about the exterior that I want to mention. So I'm gonna move in and talk about the cafe, which is the first kind of interior thing that you will see me do. So, like I said before, the actual gym portion ends up being kind of like the main thing about this build. So the cafe is really small, but I really like it. So when you walk into the cafe, you get directly met with like the barista bar. And obviously the one I use is from the Get Together expansion pack, because that's where we got the like cafe lot thing and everything. And then kind of like behind that, I use a bunch of different signs to kind of like show like, oh, this is what we're serving today, or like this is what we have on the menu, and you know, whatever. And they're from a bunch of different packs. I think one is from Dine Out, one is from Base Game, one is from Discover University. Like they're from just a bunch of different things. And then I also put this kind of like pastry container, not container, this like pastry display case, whatever you would call it. And we have a few different ones from a few different packs, but the one I use is from the not for rent. I keep mixing up For Rent, Lovestruck, and Business and Hobbies. I don't know why, but anyways, that like display case, whatever, is from the Businesses and Hobbies expansion pack. And I don't really clutter up the inside of it. Usually I would, but for this one I kind of just left it blank. But I do clutter up the top, and I do also clutter up the like entire barista bar section. And then also in the entryway there ends up being a seating thing, but it's not my regular seating like arrangement, quote unquote. Normally I just put like tables and chairs and stuff like that, but I realized recently that most cafes that I go into, they have this kind of like bar section, kind of. Also, sorry if you heard someone scream. I have my window open because it's really hot in here, and apparently people are screaming at like almost 1 a.m. on a Thursday. Don't ask me, I have no clue. But anyways, I realized that we have this, I don't know what to call it, but it's this, like, kind of like bar counters, and then you sit at them and, like, have your coffee there. Again, I don't know what they're called, and I don't know if this is making any sense, but basically what I did in the game is that I put these, island counters, like, up against the wall, and then I just put some, like, bar chairs on there, like, yeah, high top chairs, and then I just put a bunch of different things there to kind of again signalize that this is where you can like sit and drink. And I also put a laptop there because I feel like a lot of people that sit in those places and cafes that I've been to, they usually sit and work on their laptop, and I don't know why they're sitting there, but they are. And I also feel like most of the time when I see those kind of like, again, I don't know what to call them, but like countertops, wall, not wall things, I don't know what I'm calling it, a wall, but like the countertop thingies, seating places. This is making no sense, but anytime I see those, they are usually up against a window, so like you can kind of look out. In my local cafe, that's what it's like. But I don't know, I just felt like it fitted for this space, because this space is also so small that I couldn't actually fit like a table or something like that. So I just put a few of them, and again I also put a laptop there. I put also a bookcase, because maybe you're at a cafe and you just want to pick up a random book and read. I don't know. And then for the other space, that kind of like, I have these big kind of like sliding barn doors in the cafe, and those are from the Horse Ranch expansion pack. But into the next room is kind of the main like seating area, and I put some sofas there from the Industrial Loft kit, and I also just put some tables and stuff like that, just like a regular like seating space. I do also want to mention that on the like one of the walls, like kind of above the countertop seating thing that I was just talking about, like kind of up on the wall slash in the ceiling, I put these kind of like pipes slash vents. And if you're wondering, those are from the Industrial Loft kit as well, and I love them. I almost never use them, but I feel like they just fitted so well into this cafe. Like they just fitted. Again, it's supposed to be a little bit industrial. I will say that the cafe is probably more industrial than the gym, because I was thinking that the gym has been renovated, and I will move on and talk about that shortly. But yeah, I really liked using them in there, and I think they add, again, just a little bit more like industrial feel. I really like it. But yeah, that's kind of it for the cafe portion, I believe. I don't think I have anything else to mention. As always, if you have any questions, just let me know. But then moving on into the gym portion, which is my favorite, and which again is the kind of like the main thing for this build. I kind of drew inspiration from the gym that I go to when I built this gym in a few different ways. First off, my gym is located in like a renovated industrial building. It's very weird. But yeah, it's kind of just like an industrial building that's kind of like been renovated. So one portion is again a gym, another portion has like company in it and they have like a warehouse, another portion literally has a beauty salon. Don't ask me. But yeah, it's kind of just like in this random place, and I really like going there. And I've seen a bunch of different gyms have that kind of vibe where like they're kind of like renovated industrial buildings, so I felt like it worked really well. But again, it's not as industrial on the interior as like the cafe and stuff like that, because again, I was thinking that it has been renovated. But as you walk into the oh, voice crack. Sorry about that. But as you walk into the gym, you're kind of greeted by like a reception desk and just a reception area in general. Again, there's a desk. I think the one I use is kind of like this like long, again, I think it's supposed to be like a retail counter from the Get to Work expansion pack, but I just used that one. Again, it's kind of industrial-ish, and I used that one and cluttered that one up. I do put some like water bottles and stuff like that, and I also put like a sign that kind of looks like they're for sale, because I don't know about you, but I feel like most gyms have water bottles that they sell. I don't know if that's just like a thing here in Sweden. I don't know. But I feel like most gyms have that, so I feel like it made sense. And then behind what? Behind that, I kind of put I think one shelf or two shelves that are from the spa day game pack. I almost said expansion pack. That was a game pack. And those kind of look like they have like supplements or protein powder or something like that. It kind of looks like those types of containers. I don't know what they're supposed to be. I think they're supposed to be something like that, because a spa day is like a wellness pack, right? So I think it's supposed to be like some type of, I don't know, protein powder, supplements, I don't know. But I put that behind again to kind of signalize like, hey, we sell this if you want to buy this. And I do go in later on in the build and put a poster next to it that is from, I want to say the Lovestruck expansion pack. I'm not 100%, that kind of has, again, like a protein powder on it, so it kind of made sense. And I also put this big light sign from the the Growing Together expansion pack that kind of looks like a guy is running. And yeah, just, again, I think maybe that's the gym's logo. I don't know. And then also in the entryway, I do end up putting some just lockers, because in the basement there ends up being like changing rooms and lockers and stuff like that. But in my gym, we do have that. Like we have like two different like locker rooms, one for men, one for females, and then we have like another just like gender neutral one as well, but it's not as big, and I think you can only be like one person at a time in there. But we also have lockers kind of just out in the open as you walk in, so if you don't want to go in there, you can just put your stuff there. So I was thinking maybe that's the case for this gym as well. And then after I do the entryway kind of for the gym, I do, like, there ends up being a little office. I don't know why, it just ends up working like that with the floor plan, and in that office I just put like a desk. I also put the like janitor's closet thing that we got with Lovestruck that you can woohoo in. I don't know why, it's just a fun little detail. If you Sims want to woohoo there, they can. Personally, I probably wouldn't, but like if you want to, you can. But I also do this thing which I love so much. Basically we have this like bucket thing from the Seasons expansion pack, and usually have just water balloons in there, but I put some balls in there because we have a football or soccer ball or whatever you want to call it, an American football, and then also a basketball, and I just put them in there using the 9 key to kind of like raise them and make it look like there's a bunch of them in there, because even though this is a gym and I guess you wouldn't really need any balls, maybe they lend them out to schools, or maybe they, I don't know, have a different facility with like a basketball court. I don't know. But I just thought it was such a cute idea, because I've been to so many places where they have just, again, like a bucket with balls. And so, yeah, I did that. It's a very small detail. I don't, people have probably done it before, but I was just thinking of it when I was building this, and I was like, oh, that will be cute, to kind of add that as a little detail. So I did that, and I really like it. But yeah, the office ends up being very, very simple. There's not much in there. And then we move on to kind of like the main gym area. I do want to say though that both on the first floor and on the second floor, there ends up being some bathrooms. I won't show them. I will show the locker rooms at the end of the video, but or like towards the end of the video, but there are bathrooms on the first and second floor as well, so you don't have to go into the basement if you don't want to. Just thought I'd mention that before I move on. But yeah, anyways, moving on into like the actual like gym area, the first portion you will see me do ends up having a bunch of different treadmills. Because I don't know about you, but I feel like treadmills are usually like lined up against each other and is kind of like in one area. So I put a bunch of them, and I put some mirrors in front of them because maybe people want to look at themselves while they're running. I don't know. Personally, I just put on a podcast or put on like some good music and just run. I don't run. I walk, just walk on the treadmill. I would not want to watch myself, but I didn't know what else to put there, so I just did that. And both the treadmills that I use and the other machines, I never know what to call those machines. I'm gonna call them the like cable machines, because they do look like they have some sort of like cable attachment, and you can do kind of like lat pull downs, but like reversed. I don't actually know what they're called, and there's a bunch of different functions to them, but like, you know, like the big workout machines we have in the game, both the treadmills and those are from the Lovestruck expansion pack, as well as you will see me put throughout this entire build these kind of shelves with like different dumbbells and stuff like that, and like weights. Those are also from the Lovestruck expansion pack. I am so happy we have those in the game right now. I remember when the Lovestruck expansion pack came out, I think I tweeted about it. I was like, oh my god, finally, because we need more like gym clutter. I don't know why, I really want it, because I feel like we lack in that, but we have gotten more and more things, so I'm happy with it, and I'll settle. But yeah, anyways, so most of the equipment is from Lovestruck, except for the kind of like punching machines. Now, I'm not talking about the punching bags. The punching bags, I believe, are from Spot A. I believe. Don't quote me on that. I think so. But we have these other, like, kind of the combat machines where you, like, they will kind of just, like, throw out a hand and then you have to hit it. I don't know if that makes any sense. Those are from the StrangerVille game pack, if you're ever wondering. That's where they're from. So that's kind of where, like, all the equipment is from. And again, the kind of first area is very simple. It ends up having mostly treadmills and a few other things, but the second area of the first floor leads into this like huge room kind of, and it's up on a platform, so it's a little bit of like a contrast to the other portion of the build. And on this area I did something that I love. It's very simple, but I love it, because one portion of this ends up being, again, just machines, like the cable whatever machine, I don't actually know the name, and those punching machines that I was talking about. But then the other portion ends up having this rug that I tend to use in home gyms all the time. I don't know what to call it, but it looks like a, like, not a rug, but like a gym rug, if that makes any sense. But I put that there, and then I put those like shelves with like weights and dumbbells and stuff like that on them. I put those there, and then also I put these, they're supposed to be like little, not ottomans, but like kind of like puffs that you sit on from Spa Day, and I put them throughout this entire build because I was thinking that those are kind of like the ones I have in my gym, where like you can use them to sit on or to lean on or to jump up on or whatever, because like they're used in a bunch of different ways. So I put some of those on that area as well as these like benches kind of from high school years, and I put them along a wall. And again, I was thinking that those are maybe things that you will use to kind of like jump up and stuff like that. So that area ends up being kind of like a free weight area. Now, we don't actually have free weights in the game. Like, you won't see your Sims lift a free weight. But for realism purposes and just for fun, I decided to make that area because that's where I hang out mostly. When I work out, I am not a runner. I am not a like Pilates girly. I wish I was, but I'm not. I like training strength, and I am a machine girly and a free weight girly. That's what I do. I know it's super weird because if you watch my videos for a few years, you will know that I used to hate the gym. I used to say, I think I built a gym a couple of years ago and I was like, I never go to the gym. If you see me there, there's something wrong. But I've become a gym girly and I don't know what to do about it. I really enjoy it, but if you don't, honestly, I understand you. It takes a specific kind of will strength to go to the gym, and somehow I got it, but I'm not gonna lie, some weeks I just don't go because I just don't have the energy, and that's fine. But yeah, again, it ends up being like a little free weight gym area, and again, it's not actually functional, but I really like it. I was going to rotate some yoga mats to put on the wall because usually you have mats that you can kind of use and sit on and do like sit-ups on and stuff like that. But I realized that you can't rotate the yoga mats, or well, you can, but they become transparent. It's kind of like a rug in that sense in the game. So yeah, and I couldn't really find anything else that worked, so I ended up doing that. But yeah, that's like my favorite portion of this entire build because again, I'm just so proud of it because again, that's also like where I would hang out. But anyways, then I do the second floor. I'm almost done with it already, at least if the voiceover is syncing up with what I'm seeing. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, you never know. But the first portion of the second floor ends up being just more like machines. There are treadmills, there are the cable machine thingies, there are the punch things, there are also some punching bags. Yeah, there's just a bunch of different things. And then in that like second floor there ends up being another room which you have to go through a door to, and that ends up being a little yoga room. At first I was going to make it into like a spinning class room. Obviously we don't actually have like bicycles things, so you can't actually do spin class, but I was thinking I was going to put treadmills instead. But as I was building it, I realized that I already have so many treadmills. I'm just going to make it into a yoga room. So yeah, it ends up being just a cute little yoga room. Nothing really special, but I think it ends up being pretty cute. And then the third floor ends up being punching bags. Just punching bags. If you want to punch something, go to the third floor. And yeah, it's just very simple in there. It is on the tallest wall height up there, so I did struggle a little bit, but in the end it works out. And something else that I want to mention, or there are like two things. Number one, I love what I did, just like random small little details, because besides some of the machines and just randomly throughout this gym, there ends up being just water bottles on the ground and like headphones and stuff like that, because I don't know about you, but when I'm working out, I need a drink with me, either water bottle, energy drink, just like something, because I need to, I get so dehydrated, like I need to drink. So I see everyone else also have that, so I feel like you should just put that next to your machine or whatever you're doing, and then when you're done with your reps, you drink, and then you go into the next set, and you know, stuff like that. So yeah, it's just a small little detail that I love. You might be like, why are the water bottles everywhere? But that's why. And then another thing that I loved doing with this gym compared to gyms that I've done in the past is that we finally have some like gym wall art. I am saying wall art instead of like paintings for a reason, because they're not paintings, they're not like framed canvases. We have some like wall decal kind of thingies from both the Growing Together expansion pack and the Lovestruck expansion pack. Those two packs were so good when it came to like building this, because they just have a bunch of different like posters and stuff like that. Like you'll see on the third floor, I end up putting this like these two posters next to each other. One is kind of like a woman lifting really heavily, I think it's like a deadlift, and then the other one is a man just standing there with like dumbbells. don't ask me why. But yeah, I just thought it was just very realistic to have those to kind of like motivate people, and then I put them all throughout the build. And just other like small little like wall prints, wall decorations, stuff like that, from mostly those 2 packs. And then the last thing I do in this build is that I go down to the basement, and in the basement, like I mentioned before, there ends up being 2 different locker rooms, and also there ends up being a little climbing area, which I am so happy, because another thing I wanted to do with this build was fit the climbing machine that we have. We got it with the fitness stuff pack, and I almost never use it in builds because it requires the tallest wall height. Now, the basement isn't on the tallest wall height. I just made like a platform, like, but like not up, but I like sunk it down to the ground, and that's also why I did it on the like in the basement. And I just put 2 of those climbing machines because, first off, again, it's just a fun thing that like most gyms in the game don't have, because again, they're so big. But then also, one of my best friends is really into climbing. Like, that is his thing. He climbs several times a week. And I've gotten so many other friends that are climbers. So for me, climbing is kind of like part of my life. I don't climb myself, but a bunch of people around me do. And I have tried. Okay, I did try once. Well, technically twice. I did try like once, like 9 years ago when I was in Texas. That went fine. But that was like with the like line that you have with like on you. I don't know what to call it, like how to explain it. But what my friends do is bouldering, which is a little bit different. Like, you don't have that like safety line, and you kind of climb on not a straight wall, but like it's very weird. If you've ever seen someone bouldering, you will know what I mean. And I went with my friend once, and with some other friends as well. I ended up fracturing my foot. I don't remember if I talked about this. It happened like 6 months ago. I ended up fracturing my foot. It was not fun. So I don't think I'm going back. It was a lot of fun, like, being there and like being in the climbing gym. Like, I've been there with my friends a couple of times since then, but I don't think I'm actually gonna go back and climb, because I am the world's clumsiest person. So I will definitely injure myself somehow. Not like, it's nothing against like climbing itself. It's just, it's a me problem. Because I do have issues when it comes to my eye and hand coordination, and like any coordination whatsoever. I'm just not like I'm just very clumsy. If you've been here before, you know this. It's a joke within all of my friend groups and my family. Like, people who don't even know each other just calls it doing a mal. Like, I've had texts being like, hey, guess what I did? And I'm like, what? And say like, I did a mal. And I'm like, oh, what did you hit? And it's been like from my family, from like different friend groups, from people from school, like people that don't interact with each other. It just, that's what they call it, because I injure myself so much. So yeah, climbing probably not a good idea. It's a miracle I haven't injured myself at the gym yet. I don't know how. I just haven't. Like, I'm definitely the type of person that would like accidentally drop a free weight on my foot and fracture it. Like, that is me. Although I did accidentally make someone hit their head at the gym. That's a story for another day, but it was an accident, and it wasn't my fault, but I felt responsible because I asked for help with something, and then when she was done helping me, she hit her head on something. It wasn't my fault, but I felt really bad. So yeah, I haven't injured myself, but I kind of made someone else injure himself. I don't know if that makes any sense. But anyways, that's basically it for this video, and I really hope you liked it. And don't forget to like, share, comment, and of course subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.
Love.